Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Both Sides podcast. I'm really excited today because I've got a fellow buyer's agent with us, Matt Srama, who owns the Srama Group. He's a phenomenal buyer's agent and also a high integrity champion bloke with a good track record as a football professional as well as a buyer's agent. So, Matt, I'm really excited because I get to speak with a fellow buyer's agent. Mate, the first thing that comes to mind with you is you're presented really well in this all black attire. Can you tell me a little bit about the thought pattern and the design behind that?
Yeah, love that. Lads, thanks for having me. First of all,
You're welcome.
Big fan. I'm a big potty consumer and yours definitely up there. So pleasure to be on. And yeah, bro, it's funny. First thing you said to me when I see you, I tell you what that tells me about you, mate, is attention to detail. I don't know. I always know because I say that to people. I'm like, hey, bro, like just want to admire like the cuff on your ankles there. It's measured like to a T. You know, and I don't know, when people say to me, it's like, yeah, this person knows, like they've got things lined up. So, but bro, it's funny. A lot of people ask that with the black thing, bro. I don't know. I love business and I love looking up to entrepreneurs and things like I'm all about a life hack or, you know, saving time, energy, less thoughts. And, you know, the old Steve Jobs and Hormozy and some of the people I've always looked up to in business, they're always trying to minimize decisions. And then, yeah, just one day I was like, I'm just going to try and eliminate decisions out of my wardrobe. So I just decided, yeah, just go everything all black. I wear the same, and it's easy to repurchase things too. I already know it's all saved in on the app.
So is it actually the same jacket, same pants, same shirt every single day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Love it.
It's definitely same pants, same shirt.
That's a Josh Vegan move.
Is it? Yeah.
It's a Josh Vegan move.
Yeah, same size, everything. So I kind of don't ever need if I need new ones as well, it's the same. So
The only thing that changes is when you get bigger biceps.
If I go on the bulk, maybe.
Yeah.
I keep things pretty steady now that footy's finished, yeah.
Can we start off there? Like the buyer's agency stuff's cool, but I really want to know about this NRL career, how you've applied the same disciplines, because to become a professional athlete, we know Josh Green that plays for the Dallas Mavericks at the moment, and the discipline that he has, even when he came back to Australia last year while he was on holidays, he had his trainer cancel his holiday in Spain to come train him. The discipline is next level. How's that translated from being an NRL player of 7 years to now becoming an entrepreneur and buyer's agent?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd say if I was to reflect back, probably the three biggest things I've taken away from athlete to business. Number one, you've nailed it on the head, is discipline. I reflect back, like it's kind of literally ingrained in you every day. Like you have to get up. Your training's at this time, so you got to get yourself out of bed. If you're
What times wake up for you now?
These days it's 4. Always 4,
wow.
yeah.
Bed?
8's the goal always. So
Wow.
I always try to track my sleep.
I like you already.
Yeah. I know your routine, man. We can go into that later. But yeah, so when I was playing footy, the discipline muscle was always on flex because, again, if you don't make it to training, you lose your spot. Your career's kind of out there. So that, and then, you're into your first session, the discipline to compete. And then, you finish and then you got to do the discipline to do your recovery and your ice bath and take your protein shake. And, bro, your meals are all planned out. You have to eat the right meals. And then, so it's this constant, and that's one day. And then you just do that over a whole pre-season, year after year. It's just your whole career. It's just a discipline game, like the whole thing. So that's definitely number one, that transferred into business, because I believe with business now, the biggest thing of it, I believe, not all of it is skill. It's a lot of it is just discipline and doing the simple things. Number two would definitely be energy, like really prioritizing energy and how that affects your performance. Again, as a athlete full time, if you're on the piss every single day and rocking up to training, it's going to show. So same thing in business. I felt you can apply the exact same thing. If you're coming in with a healthy mind, you're coming in with a strong start ahead of the competition. And then I think the third is being regimented. So as an athlete, we used to get these PDF documents, your whole month's kind of mapped out. It says, Warriors on Saturday, so we know Friday's captain's run, and then we know our flight's on Thursday. We're having lunch at this time before the flight. You know, we have our hydration gels at this time. We wear this shirt. You wear your blue polo on the plane. You wear your white polo at captain. So it's just like everything was mapped out. The hardest thing though, where athletes fail, is none of that's provided when you're in the real world.
Yeah.
So it's back on you to make it happen. And I feel athletes go two ways. I was really fortunate. I felt as nearly like an OCD thing for me, where I felt like I wasn't at my best unless I was structured. It was kind of just ingrained from a young age. But again, we've all seen it. Like athletes go the complete opposite, where it's like finally my career's finished. I can kind of let the valve release and go hard and do other things, you know.
Yeah.
So they're the probably biggest three things: discipline, energy, and schedule.
When you talk about the discipline piece, from your experience as a top performing athlete and now a business owner, where do you feel people go wrong, or from your experience you struggled with maintaining that?
Yeah.
I reckon it's the ability to play the long game.
Ooh, the long game.
Yeah, the ability to delay your time horizon on success as well. Again, I reflect back on a career, right, on a footy career. All of those kids that are playing right now at 5, 6 years old, the realistic truth is 100% of them probably want to play first grade, but 0.001% will actually get there. And I remember we're at an under 14s carnival, and that was the stat they spat out.
Wow.
I was playing representing Met West, shout out to the hood. And yeah, represented Met West, which was a big achievement for me back in the day. And then we got to the state carnival, and yeah, they said that they were really honest. They were just like, honestly, there's probably 3 of you in this whole tournament that will go on to play NRL, and there's thousands of us.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, okay, that's the realistic nature of it. But then what I started to realize as the years went on, age 16, 17, 18, you know, a few fall away, a few making state teams and they fall away. I realized, you know, talent will only get you so far, and it sounds cliche, but I do realize if you're just willing to just stick it out and just keep enjoying what you're doing, it does get there. Like the amount of kids I've seen who were way more talented but opted to take a different path and probably lacked discipline in key areas, like maybe had the shortcut of doing certain things on a Friday, Saturday night instead of another thing, choosing choices with their food, just the smallest of things like that. I just think it comes down to playing the long game. I'm so big on, even in business, like I consider myself still new in business. I've got so much more learning to do. And I'm like, all right, I'm keen to test out where the next 10 years is going to take me. So I don't really judge my success anymore on a year thing, because again, as an athlete, a lot of them played since they're 5. So that's a cumulative probably 20 years of just doing the same thing for 20 years. Yeah.
How hard was that transition from being an NRL athlete to now being a business owner? Did you go straight to being a business owner?
No, not at all. Actually, to be honest, it was probably the hardest point of my life, like one of the hardest points. And as I unpack it, I realized my identity was attached to being a professional athlete. And it's good knowing what I know now, because I've done a lot of work on myself, but I
few Guinguana trips, eh?
Yeah, a few Guinguana trips, a few Tony Robbins.
How good's Tony Robbins?
Yeah. Dean Graziosi, man, I'm a self-development fiend. And to be honest, I got into all of that when I was struggling. It really was. Because I got medically retired too. So I retired at the age of 27. Yeah. So for me, you know, I debuted at 19, 20, and then played till 27. You know, I'd every aspiration to play till minimum 33 to 35. So for it to be cut short and doctors telling you, you know, you need to retire.
What happened? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, no, it was just accumulate. I had 9 surgeries in about 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was
That's intense.
Yeah, so it was my first 3 years was epic, you know. New kid on the block, you know, rookie of the year. I won heaps of these awards, and you know, you get all the articles about you, all those things, you know. And as a young kid, you think you're the man, and then you know, a few injuries started rolling in, and yeah, it was really really tough because I was always big on my recovery. So still to this day, it was just some of those unlucky ones. Like I never had a soft tissue injury, so like hammies, and because I always looked after, but they were just big reconstructions. So had 3 shoulder recos, hip cam lesion where they shave your hip joint, ACL reconstruction, 3 ankle clean outs, compound fracture of my finger. So yeah, that all happened in so it was a case of getting back from injury, playing 1 or 2 games, and then boom, shoulder reco back out. And
Very Ryan Pappenhausen, huh?
Yeah. It was a bit like that. Yeah, a bit of a journey, and I really relate to any athlete who goes through the ups and downs. But yeah, that was kind of that journey, which led to being medically retired. But yeah, my identity it was all over new. So that's why I sort of said how it was so tough, because my identity was I was an athlete, and it's kind of being taken away from you.
How did you learn how to detach yourself from being an athlete to going, okay, now I'm going to be something else? How did you do that mentally?
Well, I remember I listened to some Tony Robbins stuff actually that really spoke to me, and he calls it like your blueprint, and we've all got a blueprint in life, right? And if you reflect on each individual and anyone listening to this would have some sort of blueprint, what they think the next 5-10 years is. We've got goals, aspirations. The thing is in life, sometimes that blueprint doesn't go to plan, and sometimes it's not by our choice. And in that exact moment when your blueprint doesn't match what you planned, we either do 2 things: we blame or we accept. And it's scientifically proven that, majority of people actually could fall into blame, myself included. I did that too. So we just naturally, as human beings, fall into blame, because how could this happen to me? I didn't plan this. So in that moment, I think the first thing is accepting that, hey, this has happened. You can't really change it. But the key is the ability to grab the pen back and create a new blueprint. And that's where the work happens of, creating something new. And one of my favorite sayings that I definitely live by is that life will always open up doors. It's our job to walk through them, and life will close the ones we're not meant to continue to walk through.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's really helped me move forward each time in life, because what I realize is you can never connect the dots forwards. You can always connect them backwards. Always. And it's just crazy. And it's so true, because where I am sitting right now would have never been in my blueprint back then. But it's just a few doors opened up on the journey. It's fuck it, I'm just going to walk through it, see what happens, and then each thing leads to another. So anyone who's going through that right now, they might be a bit stuck. It's man, don't be one of the people who don't move forward and don't do anything. That's the feeling of stuck.
Yeah.
But you will get times where a door will open. Sometimes you just got to walk through it, and life will just close if it's not meant to continue to stay open.
Yeah, I'm seeing that throughout my own life at the moment, doors closing, but new opportunities are opening that are probably better that I never really thought were there before, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and one of the biggest things is, self-improvement. I'm just feeding my head and brain with just self-development books, this, that. Is that how you overcame your, that career change or detachment of who you thought you were?
Yeah, it was definitely one, the old saying, doing the work. I think it was number one. But one book that actually really I stumbled across on the path in that journey was called The Miracle Morning.
The Miracle Morning?
Yeah, Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning. And I was always I'm an efficiency guy, so I actually digested the audio and the summary on YouTube. So I can't say I've read the paperback front to back, but I understand the whole concept of it. Anyways, that's The Miracle Morning. Just his story is insane. He nearly died, I think, twice, and just some crazy stuff. He went broke and then got it back and then went broke again. Anyways, cool story, Hal Elrod. But the basis of the book is just developing a miracle morning. It sounds great, but
We'll listen to it on the way home tonight.
Yeah. But that kind of, and I know you guys would relate to it because you're in self-development, but the ability to create a bulletproof start to each day, and realizing that each day isn't assured as well, is where it's at. So I think during those hard times where I was transitioning, it was just look, each day is an opportunity. What an opportunity I got to even play footy. So a lot of gratitude, the stuff we all know, but I think it's actually executing it and getting amongst it properly. And there's a key concept in the book he calls on savers, SAVERES. So scribing, affirmation, visualizations, exercise, reading, and solitude. So just some, and it's just kind of creating your miracle morning that includes parts of that. Could be 30 minutes, could be 4 hours.
So what does your miracle morning look like now, for example?
Oh, bro, do you want to go depth or just height?
Depth. Deep.
Bros, anyone who knows me personally knows I'm a fiend for routine and
Let's go
morning.
deep.
Let's go deep. Look, and this is the cool thing, right? The miracle morning changes all the time based on where you are in life, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah. Right now, where I am in life, like I love getting up early. Like I love 4 o'clock now. For some reason.
Why?
I think it's because I feel like I'm getting a lot more done. I feel like I can get into the office sooner as well.
What time are you in the office?
I try to get in between 8 and 9. So nothing great, but anything before 9, the phone's on do not disturb. I don't like my miracle morning to be disrupted either. So for me, it's as simple as 4 a.m. wake up, cold shower straight away. That's always number one. So
2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, so what I do, actually just before the cold shower, I learnt this. Literally, again, I've just tweaked it slightly since coming back from Gwingana. I did a peak performance retreat and it was all around diaphragm, the ability to store oxygen in your diaphragm. So it's 30 breaths. Like, have you heard of breath of fire? It's this
Breath of fire, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of through your nasal, like that. So it's just all through your diaphragm. Yeah. So I'm just strengthening my diaphragm. So I learned a lot around the stronger you hold that, the strengthen that, the more oxygen you can hold throughout the day, which when you get stressed, that's your little bank you can turn to. So it calms your vagus nerve and stuff like that. Anyway, so start with some breath work, cold shower straight away. Usually I'll hold it for the ability. What I do now is like I'll sort of do the breath, relax, and on the exhale, just hit it cold straight off the bat. And then I just try to relax the vagus nerve then. And I always think of those moments like I'm going to get some tough calls today or something bad will happen. It's just like this cold shower. This is really painful right now for about 5 seconds. Just lean into it and then sort of breathe your way through it and then get through it. Then I'll turn it hot and then cold again and whatever. Big one for me is a skincare. I'm all about
you
the
do
skin.
look good, bro.
You look like you got a skincare.
Bro.
It's funny. Well, imagine this, bro. Imagine being in a locker room. You know, you're 20 years old. You know, there's dudes in their 30, 35, mask energy, right? And you pop out the moisturizer. Right? Like, in the locker rooms, I used to get like all the time.
You red light and everything?
Bro, they'd be off me all the time. Like, fuck, yeah, what are you doing? Anyways, but it's funny, those same guys like, bros, you look well, eh? Like, since you were... I'm like, bro, all them times you used to pay me out moisturize, and that's why. But yeah, I always moisturized, all that sort of stuff. All natural. I don't touch any chemicals anymore. And then chuck headphones in and then listen to a potty, like both sides or whatever I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'm feeling like real estate chat. I'm feeling business, or I'm feeling something really like spiritual or feminine, like just whatever I'm craving, a bit of love or something.
Ooh,
whatever I'm craving. Yeah.
Bit of this, little bit of that.
bit of the secret, you know. Whatever I'm craving, I'll listen to it. And then I do that when I make this smoothie. I'll give you, there's a recipe off there if you want, but man, this smoothie, I've never missed a morning in about 6 years. Same smoothie. I take it with me overseas. Yeah. I got the setup at mum's place in Brizzy too. It just
What's
goes
so
everywhere.
good about it? Why do you take it every morning?
I think it was funny. Even at Arik, there was this dude he gave his smoothie routine, and I think all it is just energy. It just gives energy, and it's just got everything in it. Like there's a lot of good powders in it and all the natural stuff.
Do you drink coffee?
I put a nab, I'm talking like a drop of coffee in this smoothie because I have it before I train.
Yeah.
So I don't have pre-workout or anything. It's just, that's my caffeine for the day. Yep. I'll actually put the shot inside this with coconut oil inside the smoothie. And then, by the time the smoothie's done, I've drunk it. Usually I can get through around a 40-minute potty on 1.5 speed, which is good.
Yep.
And then, go to the gym, do some mobility, then always do some sort of weights, hypertrophy, finish up with core. Then I'll head to the beach on the Gold Coast. Very blessed. Live on the southern end of the coast.
What's your favourite beach on the coast?
Oh, I live in a suburb called Palm Beach. Yeah, so it's down the southern end, and I've always really enjoyed it just because it's
It's a bit more quieter, isn't it?
It's very quiet, yeah. There's limited parking, so you don't get all the burly, tourists or anything like that. So it's cool. It's very peaceful. So yeah, I'll go for a dunk in the water, and then I'll do a yoga. I've got a yoga flow. It's about 10 minutes. Done that since all my injuries. It's really helped. And then I'll meditate for 10 to 12 minutes in the sun, direct sunlight.
At the beach?
At the beach, yeah, at the beach. So again, the benefits of direct sunlight. There's a lot of science behind it.
Are you looking in the sun?
Yeah, usually I'll close my eyes and the sun's just whack on me.
Will you also look in the sun as well, like directly into the sun?
No, but
first sunlight?
when I got back from Gwingana, they actually mentioned that that's actually all right. Like take your glasses off.
Yeah,
and
look directly in the sun.
Yeah,
first
look directly at it. So and then I'll sort of do my intentions for the day to finish on.
Yeah.
So
how many intentions do you write?
Yeah, so I've got myself, again, slightly tweaked now. I've got 5 good questions, and I've got it saved on my phone, actually.
Let's hear them.
Yeah, so
if you don't mind sharing them.
Yeah, these are my 5 questions I ask myself each morning now, and I love it. And I got this from, might have been Dean Graziosi, I think. I'm not sure, though, but I've just kind of made it my own. And first question I ask myself after meditating is, what am I grateful for today? Someone, something, and something about yourself. So 3 things. So
what did you say for yourself today?
Myself, I said, well, I was a bit crook actually after ARIC, so I'm glad my body repaired itself. Yeah, so I did natural ability on that. Number 2, where am I winning at the moment?
Yep.
So a bit of perspective and
where are you winning
appreciation. I always reflect on the business side of things. Like again, that was always a big one. And just lately, just because we've had some big wins with the business. Number 3, what will I let go of today?
Ooh.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel that was a good one to ask myself.
Really
sometimes we carry that deal that didn't go through, or that client that pissed us off,
good.
or even
Burden.
someone that burnt us. You know, whether it was work or outside of work, and we carry that, man, and it can stay with us. But like, and it can affect a lot of things. So yeah, what will I let go of today? Number 4, what does my ideal day ahead look like? So just anticipation and intent. So moving through the day with intent. And then the last one, what needs to be said at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the day or the end of your life?
End of your life. Yeah. Yeah. Just a little, it can always change. Again, all those things do is just kind of just get the brain kind of
anchors you into
a bit of a thought. Yeah. And I mean, bro, after a bit of exercise, sun, breath work, again, man, that's my miracle morning. Go home, get dressed, chuck the black kit on, and listen to both sides on the way, and I'm just jacked up, ready to go.
I did some breath work with Beardle in Bali for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I full tripped out.
Did you?
I was like, what was that?
Did you
get that?
Was it like that Wim Hof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
the
intense, man.
Yeah. That was... I remember the first time I did that, I was getting a bit tingly and
I was full tripped.
Yeah, full tripped.
He did it. We were sitting at the edge of this cold plunge, right? At the Airbnb we were at, and he's sitting there, and then he's sitting there, and he just goes full just into the water. I'm like, whoa, that's like dragging him out. It's intense, man.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's again, all that sort of breathwork stuff, I think it sounds like, do your breathwork and that. But again, what I learned at that retreat I went to was a lot of it is to do with like circulating oxygen and just getting a storage of oxygen ready for, again, when stress comes, because it's coming.
Yeah.
Because you see, man, the things I've noticed in business, the best business operators I've seen, they're cool, calm and collected. And
always, every time.
But people think, they must just not go through stress. Man, everyone goes through stress.
They just handle it better. Emotional, and you always hear Simon Beard talk about it, the ability to regulate emotion. He calls it emotional IQ. Like being able to regulate your emotions, he reckons was a success to building culture things. Wow.
Yeah, just the ability to regulate in key times.
I can see that. I can see that in my own life, to be honest with you. The times where I'm on and I'm calm and collected is when I'm doing this. And then when I'm not, it's opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's time when, and it really comes out. I always really analyze myself when it's something that's gone wrong. Like, how did I react in those moments? Because it's all well and good to be cool, calm, and collected when everything's fine, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's when the business partner burnt you. It's when the client did the dirty on you. It's when your partner did something to you, potentially your mate or whatever.
Doesn't
How
matter
do you
what.
react then?
Yeah.
That's where it's at, I feel.
So how long did it take you for that to click in your mind, or have you always been like that level-headed dude?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, to be an athlete at that level, you have to be at level-headed.
Yeah, you
because
can't.
man, it's one of the best life experiences to go through being an athlete, because again, like, very grateful, like, what other 19, 20-year-old like gets to, hang out with all your mates who are, and a lot of life experience, 25, 30-year-olds every day. And all day, every day, you're training, you're competing, but you're on this roller coaster together like you wouldn't believe. Fans love you. They're all over you when you're winning.
Yeah.
And then they hate you the next week. And the media love you. You win man of the match, like, oh, Matt Srama, wow, next in line for Queensland. And then what do you know? Next week they're talking how he should be sacked. You just got to block it all out, because again, people don't realise, man, it is a pressure cooker like you wouldn't believe. Like, even every session you go into, you got someone you're chasing in front, but then there's a young kid chasing your back too. Always. There's constantly always. So you're in this constant anxiety of like, man, you got to hold your spot. You got to perform. So you get paid money to perform. And if you can't perform, you're not there. So that's why sometimes you got to push through injuries. And even though you go to any other job place, if you can't do your job, you get a doctor's cert and you get paid leave. But if you tell the coach, mate, you don't mind if I have 2 weeks off, my shoulder's playing up, just, well, sorry, mate, you snooze, you lose. So, going through that whole pressure cooker of even the media as well, not even to just sprinkle social media now these days. You definitely grow a lot and you learn a lot. So when I transition out into business now, it's kind of like, well, yeah, some things don't always go to plan, but I feel like I've gone through a lot of different things when I was playing sport.
So talk to us a little bit more about how you're a buyer's agent now, but you're wanting to be more, I guess, surface level management, leading the business, that sort of thing. What's led you down that track now, or what's leading you down that track?
I think this is a good one. Like, I know you got a lot of listeners in the real estate space, and I see two paths in the real estate world. Like, there's more the technician path and there's more the manager path, I reckon. And what I mean is, there's your trading time for money, and like a lot of the great agents I know who are earning some serious money too, they're amazing technicians, which is awesome. Like, that's awesome. And it's just choosing which one I think is best for you. So what I mean by that is a technician is someone who can trade effort for dollars. And all the best agents I know, man, they work hard. They work hard, which is epic. And they get what they deserve. And that's the cool thing around this industry. You get paid on the effort you can do and provide the world 100%. As well. So the GCI and all that, it's a direct reflection of the effort you're putting in at the end of the day. But then what I've also noticed in this game, talking to some owners who are more behind the scenes, they're also earning some amazing coin. But what they've done is they're leveraging their efforts into more people to build the business. Build the people will build the business. And again, I feel it's hard to wear both hats of the manager and the technician. And I feel the best agents are really good technicians and the best managers are really good managers. I haven't seen many who can do both. They transition. Like, I remember hearing the other week, he had Marty Fox on, who I've always looked up to. He turned from a technician to an amazing manager now, and he's scaling things out and more of a CEO role. Dane Atherton on the Gold Coast, who's a weapon,
Oh, mate.
He's an absolute machine.
Yeah.
But he's one of the best managers I've ever seen of people. But then I also heard Matt Pilios the other week, who I've always like, unreal technician, one of the best, unreal. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Very different,
but both can earn ridiculous amounts, and it's just just depends what fulfills you. I actually get a lot more what I've realized on the journey out of seeing my team become the technicians and them achieving goals for their families and their kids and stuff like that. And I think when I peel it back to my identity piece again, I think it's just the sport thing. I was always captain and stuff like that. I loved getting everyone up to play. It's nearly like I'm moving from the player to player coach to now I want to be the owner of the organisation to help drive the people to make a movement kind of thing, because I can't wear all the hats, and that's something I have been doing because I'm still in startup phase.
Yeah. How long have you been running for?
Mate, we're just coming up to 3.5. Fourth year will be in September.
Fourth year, September.
That's epic.
That is epic.
Yeah.
And most of your stuff we're chatting off air is owner-occupier based in the Gold Coast, for those that don't know.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yep. And a lot of it has been, again, my family, my dad was a garbo, like he collected rubbish, and my mum worked at the hotel at the Travelodge at Roma Street, just around the corner actually. And so the business was never in the family whatsoever, very hardworking. Dad was from Poland, mum was from Philippines, so didn't grow up with much, from Western Brizzy. And
hence the good skin.
And it's good. And what I try to say there all the time is business. You just learn it. Like that's what I've learned. I started off as a technician and moved through the journey. And what I'm super passionate about now is, especially in the buyer's agency space, it's epic. It's all of a sudden, like you realize, it's cool now to be a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
Like never
but
used
it's
to.
fucking hard.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. And same as I used to be a sales agent as well.
Did you?
Yeah. I used to be a sales agent.
Where for?
McGrath.
Really?
Thank God you moved.
Yeah, I've seen the light. No, I was a sales agent. Yeah. So again, I've learned the technician effort. Like, man, respect, big time. You want to learn a job, you want to become successful. I think you have to do real estate sales for 12 months.
It's like the labourer's job.
You got to do it.
It's like that same experience where you just got to do the shit.
You got to
work.
do the shit work. You have to go through it. You got to understand rejection, being able to talk to people,
make cold calls.
And I'm just thinking back to my McGrath days. I sat at this desk, right, and next to me was like a revolving door.
Yeah.
In 12 months that I was there, I had 6 people sit next to me, 6 or 7.
Did ya?
Most of them lasted 60 days or less. So it was really funny. But that's what I've really noticed on the journey is that, I don't know, the difference in separating the two. And then in the buyer's agency space, what I find, and this is a lot of advice I give to a lot of new buyer's agencies, you will craft your path into either a technician or a manager. And same as real estate sales, you will craft your path, because just because you're a baker doesn't mean you'll have a good bakery shop.
Yes, correct.
Just because you're a real estate agent doesn't mean if you want to open up a real estate office, you're going to have a great office. Same as buyer's agents. You're seeing a lot that are coming in as business owners. If you're a good buyer's agent, doesn't mean you're going to have a good buyer's agency business, because the sport of being a buyer's agent and the sport of owning a business are two different sports. Yeah. It's just like saying you want to be good at playing tennis and you want to be pro at playing basketball. Yeah. I think to be good, you got to choose one and go hard at that. So that's what I'm really learning and trying to show my team too, is there's a lot of effective ways that you can scale effectively, staying in your, what's called, I call it your creative zone of genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your blueprint or recipe, the Srama model, that you could share for buyers agents to generate business, crack the code, buy properties? Do you have a blueprint, a system, a model that suits you?
Yeah. My advice to any buyer's agent is, and this is some advice I got early on as well, is if you're starting out, you want to find clients and then you want to find property for those clients. Rinse and repeat. And that's all you should be doing. So how do you find clients? Number one. So 80% of your time should be done on lead generation activities. So trying to figure out who are the key stakeholders who could potentially give you business. Obviously a lot when starting out to buyer's agencies, potentially, your brokers, referral partners like real estate agents is another one. And then your personal network. I remember thinking when I started, I used to write down in this little black book, literally, you just hear it all the time, like, oh, so-and-so is thinking of buying a house. I'd write their name down. Like, when you think about it, there are that many people looking to buy a property. So that's really where you should just start, in all honesty. And I used to come up with this method. I called it the lost lead approach. Sometimes you got to take a loss on your first few leads. I remember my first lead, I did it for like $500 or something. I just wanted to get a foot in the door. But then that one lead further down the track actually referred me someone because of business. My first, I think, 3 leads I did for next to nothing. But what I did was I leveraged those opportunities into
Very
the hope
smart,
of more.
yeah.
Testimonials, not only written, but I got video ones. I used them as content as well, like the purchases I made. Those agents who I worked with on those ones, they started seeing what I did there and they started referring me. So all of a sudden, 3 clients, which I probably effectively lost money on at the start, I seen it as a positive gain because that in the long game, it actually put me in a far better position. So it's called the lost lead approach.
The lost lead approach. I can relate to that. I've
Last night, yesterday,
Yeah.
realistically.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess with that one, in terms of leveraging, how would you leverage now if you were to sell a property? Sorry, not sell a property, buy a property. How are you leveraging?
I think relationships it's huge. It is everything. And my advice to not only my team and why we've been able to get so good traction on the Gold Coast is real estate agents are your clients.
They are.
You've got 2 sets of clients if you're a buyer's agent. You've got the real estate agents and you've got your buyers. And both are treated differently. Both have different dialogue methods you need to give both of them. Both have different ways of communication styles too.
Fucking oath they do.
Yeah, they do. So that's what I've realized is you need to learn the art of your 2 clients and work very hard. So I used to have a key, again, my OCD, I used to have a method of building my clients with agents. Again, not for business, for relationship growth.
Yeah.
What I used to do is I do my sourcing calls. So, hey mate, it's Matt here from the Srama Group, blah, blah, blah. Seen you sold, whatever, mate. Awesome. I stroke the ego always at the start. Little stroke.
Got to add value, got to show the
Mate,
ego.
what about that? Was that a 3-bet or a 4? Was that 3? Mate, how did she get that sale price? Good job. Whatever. Just chew the fat, whatever. And just off the cuff. By the way, I always start with, hey, I know you're busy, because they're busy. Don't piss them off. Don't be that buyer's agent. You just choose the ear off. Just, mate, I know you're busy. Just quickly, I got this client, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for this, that, and that. You got anything? No. All good, man. Hey, keep up the great work. Then if it was a bit of energy there or whatever, we just got along, I'll check his next 2 open homes. I'd go to the open home, meet him in person. And the goal for me was never to talk real estate. It was to just chew the fat and chat around, mate. It sounds like he likes AFL, which I'll try and chat around stuff with AFL, or it might be a female and like she's a mum and like, oh, how are you juggling being a mum? And so again, the art was just building genuine relationships, not doing it out of like a passive, like, I'm just trying to infiltrate people. It was literally, I wanted to get to know these people on a level where if I know in 6 months' time when I call them, when I do have a lot of clients finally on my book, I'm going to get in the doors a lot better because I didn't waste their time.
Yeah.
I respected their time. There was a little stroke of ego here and there. But also I understood as well what they're busy. They're trying to get deals done. I want to be a facilitator, not a hindrance.
I think that's awesome. I can relate to that as well. And I think just sharing my experience as well, that helped me source properties and build relationships is doing something like the podcast.
Yeah,
and it's like,
true.
how do you add value to these people?
Yes.
So that you can bring the playing field down.
Huge.
So like, just thinking like, for me, the podcast is my vehicle, but you might have your own vehicle. Somebody else might have their own little thing.
One of my biggest tips for any buyers agents listening, or even sales agents could get a bit out of this too, is across our team, I always give that exact point, mate, you made, adding value. How are you adding value to buyers agents? Just like you are to your clients, agents need that too. So I might have went to, 3 Burleigh Street auction. I love getting out to auctions. Again, it's good to get your face out there, live market feedback as well. So my process there was I'd go to the auction, chew the fat with everyone who's there. You see auctions, mate, everyone's there. Agents are there, auctioneers are there.
The whole office is there.
The whole office is there.
Yeah.
Get a chin wag with everyone, shake a hand. It's awesome. Quick little prospect around too on properties that they got coming on. It's the best. So auctions are very good. Get some footage. I'd tag them all as well. They reshare it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd leave and then I'd do a video market report. Like, hey, was just that one 3 Burleigh Street, Burleigh Heads, 3 bidders over 2 mil, ended up selling for 2.6. Pretty good area for the result. Well done. Troy Fitz, Ray White or whatever, Lacey West, Will West, whatever. So then again, they tag it. But then the key is I'd start thinking, who are the 3 agents who would find this relevant? So I'd call the other 3 agents in Burleigh, say, brother.
That's smart.
Brother, I don't know if you know, Burleigh Street just sold 2.6, had 3 over 4. Man, it's pretty good, eh? Just want to let you know. It's like, mate, they love it because they're straight onto their pipelines who they're working on. So that's a big
That's
tip.
really smart, especially if the agents don't have a relationship with the other agent. And
They all hate each other.
And they don't get prices, and if you can be that connection.
I remember I used to fake being I'd go on a different number when I used to work in my garage to get some sales info from someone else. So
Yeah, it's dog eat
you know,
dog.
yeah.
like half my competitors are probably listening to this. I hate you all.
It's all, and that's what I mean. The buyer's agent though, you can add value to all of
collab,
them.
yeah.
You can collab. So I always see it as good cop, bad cop. A buyer's agents, they're always the good cop.
We are, aren't we?
Always. Yeah, always.
I think real estate agents just need to go to that question 3, which what do they need to release for their day?
Yeah, what do they need to let go of, eh? 100%. I say this to everyone. A good buyer's agent are usually the good guys and girls of real estate who didn't have that who didn't have the backstab. They're the ones who are good buyer's agents. But it's literally I literally respect all the real estate agents on the coast because again, because I've lived and breathed being it's bloody tough. So if you can literally add value to them, little things, take off admin. Say, man, our team will sort all the paperwork. We'll do all the DocuSign, everything for you. So again, thinking in that mentality, they are your client. They are your clients. So always got 2 sets of clients if you're a buyer's agent.
Question for you. I'm moving more from that technical to the next spot. I've obviously got a great team under me. I've got, we're about to put on our 6th associate. But I don't want to be listing and selling majority of it.
Yep.
I want my team doing it.
Yep.
What are you doing when obviously you're having people call you and say, hey, Matt, we want to work with you. Are you still handling every single one or are you starting to palm?
Really good question. This is the fine art of the Passover.
This is what I need to know.
This is playing what's in front.
Yeah,
Give me the ball, but I'll set you up. And it's a fine art. It is a very fine art. And it's taken me 6 to 12 months to kind of build this out. And I think it starts on the messaging of where the lead enters the pipeline.
Okay.
So what I mean is, I love business. I love developing systems and processes, all those sorts of things. There should be a clean system and process from the moment a lead enters your funnel, top funnel, right up into bottom funnel, which I call, say, settlement.
Yep.
Clean process. So what I mean is lead entry comes in, they get a lead entry goes into the data, first contact call task gets automated, first contact call called, there's a script, blah, 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 pre-meetings booked in, calendar invites sent, so every little detail of our process is ingrained in there. At the start, I was 100% owner of that whole funnel. As you scale, you find the right people in the right seats. Similar footy. I was playing all the positions at the start, and as you get better, you realize where your strengths are. So you get a winger, you start to get a hooker, you get a prop, you get a back rower, and then you start formulating the side. So it's awesome that you've gone down that path now, getting the right people. So sounds like the first step is getting the right people for the right seats. So where I see some people get it wrong when they're scaling is they're hiring people for the sake of adding capacity, not for alleviating roles. So what I mean is I needed to let go of, I was really good at first contact call, but I hated all the booking in and admin and everything. So I outsourced that, got an admin person, blah, 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 built it out like that. Then as more leads started coming in, that was starting to take up a lot of my time. So I started getting someone in for the first contact calls, qualifying calls, stuff like that. what we've been able to manage and slowly do now is when it comes to sign-on meeting, that don't have to see me, they can see. So we could potentially have 4 meetings at once rather than that used to be 4 of me going to every single one of them. What I noticed the big tweak was what was the expectation set as soon as the lead come in. The Srama Group is a group of amazing buyers agents on the Gold Coast. Previously, it was the Srama Group was Matt Srama.
Yeah. So what happens if someone calls in and they say, hey, Matt, I want to work with you, but you're not in the position where you might not want to work with that particular client because maybe for any one reason.
Yep.
How do you pass that on? What are you saying to that client?
Yeah. And again, why I love a system and process, no one comes through the qualifying call. And that qualifying call does a lot of the vetting.
Got you.
You know, there's a lot of good questions in there. You know, we don't have to go too in depth in that, but all the great agents who would listen to this have got really good questions that peel the onion back, whether it's a hot buyer or a cold buyer. If it's a hot buyer and it's still maybe you don't have capacity for them or whatever, in that qualifying call, being able to train the team in a way where it's like, or it could be me sometimes taking that call. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, your criteria, that's awesome. I definitely feel we can add value. You're going to be really suited
that's
to
smart.
Kev. You're going to be really suited to Kev because Kev looks after that area really, really well. Or, you know, Dan actually heads up that department in that area. What I'll do is I'll actually connect you up and Dan will, but then the onus is on you as a founder to make sure when it's passed, that level of service stays high.
So
high.
don't lose that client.
Don't lose that client. And what I've noticed is, look, there may be the odd one here and there that says that. But again, if they're feeling like it's the experience is synonymous, regardless where it goes, it's not about the person, it's around the experience. Because people are paying to get a job done. They're not paying to so much so, hey, I want to work with Kev. It's like, hey, I've got a pain. I've heard your business has a solution. Your fee's this, I'll pay that, get me the solution, get the solution, they're happy. At the end of it, you realize people paying for a solution, they're not actually paying for the person. And it's one thing I think real estate agents can't let go of sometimes. You got to let go to grow. So you have to make that decision. You're not always the most needed person. You're not always, but you are required at certain points. And sometimes what I notice, probably the best way to scale in your position could be, I call it red zone chats.
Red zone chats. Tell me a bit more about that.
So red zone chats are the teams work their way upfield. Teams got you to the 80 meter mark. It's fifth and last. They need your little expertise to get the repeat set or get this over the line.
That little stitch.
So again, imagine you could do 4 or 5 red zone chats in an hour. So they're the chats where it's like you might be needed. Just your little bit of expertise that
Just that
it
little
is hard
grubber, that little...
It's hard to train that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That comes with experience.
Yeah.
You can train people to get you upfield though. You can. So again, I had 3 red zone chats on the way here that I helped the team with. And now it's around giving them the confidence though to have those chats too. And you got to take it sometimes. Look, I could just pick up the phone and do it myself. I could. And sometimes I will if it's very important. But sometimes it's like, well, if you're going to let someone fish, don't take the rod off them. Just let them go fish.
And be okay to let them fish at the level they currently are and make the mistakes.
Bro, this podcast is fucking fire.
Because remember, we were them too.
That's right.
We were them too. There's nothing worse than a micromanager saying, nah, give me the rod.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. How is that person going to grow into the best version of themselves? Because I call it ROTI, return on time invested. And the more time you give someone up front, it's going to win back time over here. It's just very hard. It's a slog here, but you give someone the confidence and just believe in them and give them the training, give them the scripts. Like I record calls and we role play. It's fucking annoying, you know, that you have the thought they're not good as me, but they do end up being better, if not better.
Yeah.
It's just you need to allow the time and space.
Were you doing self-development like audiobooks, books and that sort of stuff while you were an athlete?
Yeah, I did at the back when I started
Okay.
having injuries. Yeah.
I was going to say your mind seems very, very switched on. Like I just said just then, this podcast is straight fucking fire. Like
'Cause
there's
it's
just,
really-
there's just
Love-
there's just nuggets of gold being dropped 24/7.
No, I
I'm
love
going to be
it.
re-listening to this.
Yeah.
And I very rarely re-listen to a podcast. So, mate, there's how have you been able to switch into gear and go, you know what, I'm going all in on this?
Again, maybe it was from the sports side of things that a career won't last forever. I think I've had that realization.
Fuck, it's true, isn't it?
It's so true, man. The reality is what the three of us are doing right now may not be here in 12 months.
No.
It's not guaranteed.
It's not.
No, it's definitely not guaranteed. We all three of us might delve into something different too. Like we're talking off air, like we've all got different ambitions. Like I doubt we will be in 12 months, the three of us. But isn't that the cool thing though? Like it's like who knows? So I think the ability to give it your all in the moment now is what's important, because again, if you've got anxiety on the future or depression about the past, man, the moment is now. And that's what I learned as an athlete is you drop the ball in the past and you're worrying about your performance in the future, you miss the opportunity right in front of you in game day. Because the best athletes, they play in the moment. They play what is in front of their eyes. I've seen so many players miss opportunities, myself included, because your thought was way over here. The best athletes play it, literally, it sounds cliche, play by play. So I think the same comes in life and in business too. You just got to take it day by day and give it
And play by play, like hour by hour.
Oh man, in this industry is minute by minute, eh? Like,
So like with footy, for example, you've got your set plays mapped out in training. You can play them on game day. How are you structuring your set plays in business? How are you doing your calendar each day, each week, goals, action tasks?
Oh, don't get me started on calendar. I love a good calendar, man. So I think the big one is when I peel back the calendar, I'm very structured with calendar. My assistant loves it because everything just funnels where it needs to go. Two big tips around calendar. First is understand what your three big rocks are. So your role right now, you have three key tasks. That's it. So for instance, again, sport analogy, I got this from sport. I was a dummy half. My role was good service to the halves, tie up the middle, like we were very defensively tight, and get us to the points that play we needed. That was it. That's all I needed to do my job. That's all I need to do. Now, my role for where I am now, at the start, it was find clients, all that
everything.
stuff. It's everything. But now I've identified just three things. There's a million things on the to-do list we all have. Yeah. Three key things. So for me, it's revenue generate. So revenue generate is tasks that will generate revenue. Consider stuff like this, where I'm meeting on platforms and opening top of funnel. So meeting with revenue generating people. So through this podcast, someone might follow me that connects up. Hey, I've got a client down in Melbourne, whatever.
Correct.
You just you have to do activities like this and build your network. And now the three of us will stay connected, I'm sure,
100%.
So that's revenue generate, corporate partner relationship, revenue convert, red zone chats.
Yeah.
So revenue in the business, converting clients. Again, maybe an objection come and one of my team are like, hey, this person said fee objection or whatever. Jump on the phone and I'll try and convert that to revenue in the business. So revenue generate, revenue convert, and then lead. Just lead the team. Anything to do with training, and that's it. So then in my calendar though, I've got little set. It says actually RevCon, RevGen, lead. RevCon, RevGen, lead. RevCon, RevGen, lead. So when our requests come in to catch up, you said the time. I was like, perfect. That Wednesday mornings from 8 to 10 is always RevGen.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, well, boom, slots in there. If someone reached out for an OFI, a really hot off market, that would go into RevCon, and my assistant slots it in. A team meeting one-on-one, that goes into the lead block. So my assistant funnels all the emails and inquiries that come through. Then if it slots into the spaces.
Structure.
Because again, if you've got no structure, we become busy being busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the end of the week, as agents, buyers agents in this industry, we're all busy. Everyone's running around flustered and they've got one hand on the phone and they've got the coffee in this hand. Like, bruh, it's been the busiest week. But you look on the calendar, there's a lot of just busy being busy.
Yeah.
But did you move the needle big? So I think that is a huge one. Understanding what your 3 rocks are, then creating a calendar that matches your output and your goals.
Yep. My last question for you, and this is not this is for anyone that's starting out either as a real estate agent, buyer's agent, or even an entrepreneur that's starting off on their own business. What would be your key advice, or what would you have done differently in your first year in business? Biggest learnings. I'd say definitely the understanding which path I wanted to go down in terms of technician versus manager. There's another really good concept called the E-Myth Revisited. It's a book, the E-Myth Revisited. Super basic, but understands the layers of business and building that bakery. And if you are a baker right now, E-Myth, sorry?
The E-Myth Revisited.
Beautiful.
And just understanding what business is all around. I think that's number one. And then deciding what path I'd go down. But I think the second one to finish on would definitely be reflecting on sport, reflecting on business. And I'd say this to a lot of people right now is that what I noticed the best do in sport and what I noticed the best do in business is exactly the same. And it's one thing I'm really mindful of now is that they see with their mind.
See with
their mind. So what I mean is like our eyes are just a mechanism to see. This is what I believe is true. Our eyes are just a mechanism to see. Like we should be seeing through our mind. If our mind is blind to the possibility, our eyes would be blind to the opportunity. So I think a lot of people don't even believe it up here, yet they're trying to make it happen through here.
Gotcha.
So the best in sport, they already know it's happening up here. And I've analysed a lot of key business people. They're seeing things through their mind. Yeah. So when they're looking out in the world, they're spotting the opportunities because it's been consistently thought about, manifested, and thought about. So that would be my biggest takeaway. If I was to go back, I'd do a lot more work on visualizing success before it even happens.
Yes.
My last question to you, Matty, is what are you currently now visualizing to manifest? What's the next rock?
Yep, the next rock. I guess I always peel it back into facets of life, right? For health, I've gone down this path of just trying to improve energy. Definitely what I'm manifesting. Little things. Can I tweak 1%? Again, using natural products. Produce has stepped up. Looking where I get my vegetables and meat and everything from now. So I'm definitely stepping up the energy side. And then in the business side, I think what I'm manifesting a lot is the ability to add impact to a wider scale. So what I mean is I love the buyer's agency space. I think it's amazing how many are coming through. But I'm also noticing a need for solid mentorship in the space too, because it's so fresh. It's awesome. There's no set and forget model. Like I noticed in the sales space, there's nearly a model where it's the associate come into there's like a clean path that a lot of people do follow in businesses, but everyone, what I've noticed in BA, they're doing it differently, which is awesome.
Different,
which is awesome. So I think for a lot of new people in the space, it's very hard to kind of learn from someone in the space who's done things because there isn't many. There isn't many. So that's what I'm passionate about, because I've always thought to myself, how can I impact more people around, nationwide? It's not through having more Srama Group, it's potentially having more impact through other buyers agents. So then they're spreading their learnings to more people. So I'm just trying to manifest, I guess, how can I impact and create high leverage with my time versus the impact I create. Because just to finish on, Laz, my favorite is the more impact you create, the more income you'll make.
Oh, yes.
Don't focus on the income. The impact will be a byproduct, Focus on the impact, byproduct will be the income.
Mate, thank you so much. That was one of the best
awesome
podcasts
I love it.
I've done. Thank you.
No,
I really, really appreciate that.
And as a fellow podcaster, on my podcast, I always think a lot comes down to the host and the questioner. It's been one of my favorite too, and that's a credit to you lads. You know what you're doing, and every app I listen to, you're really good at digging deeper, man.
Appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you.